Start with filming anything you want and then just upload it. What could possibly go wrong? If you're not willing to go ahead with that Russian roulette version of creating a marketing video for your business or product, then here's the proper way. No matter how large or small your ambitions, the best thing to do with any piece of video communication is to break it down to 3 stages: pre-production, production, and post-production. Doing this will immediately give you a decent shot at finishing up with something you want instead of something that looks like a drop mince pie. Although there's no formula for making marketing videos, there is a craft, a framework that you can put your own ideas into. Let's start by having a look at what ought to go into pre-production. Where does this little bit of comms sit within your marketing strategy? If you've not got a strategy, or maybe that's a bit above your pay grade, then think about it this way. Whatever you're communicating needs to sit somewhere in a sales and marketing funnel. So this doesn't get down in the weeds too quickly. I'm going to assume that your marketing video is going to be somewhere near the top of your funnel, either building awareness or helping with consideration. If I haven't lost you just yet, hang in there. Let me explain both of these categories, and then you'll need to make a choice about which of these stages you expect your audience to be at. Any communication can inadvertently talk to audiences that are in different stages of the buying cycle, but you don't want to be making anything that is trying to talk across these stages deliberately, because it'll be a big pile of mush. It talks to no one in particular. An awareness video sits right at the top of your funnel, connecting to the big bad world, and is knowingly promotional. It's for potential prospects that don't know you from a bar of chocolate. You need to give this audience a reason to care about your product or service. That much is obvious, but how to do it is very different from later stages of the buying cycle. We structure this type of comms by way of problem, solution. Define the problem for your target audience as clearly and uniquely as possible. Make it fun, surprising, arresting, dangerous, whimsical. Whatever you do, don't play it safe. Remember, these prospects are not ready to buy from you, but they may have a need for you in the future. So all you can hope for is that they remember one important thing, so that when an event occurs that leads them to be ready to buy, your product or service is already more familiar. Put yourself in their shoes for a moment. Literally, no one's interested in a raft of superior features and benefits that are in a pair of Nikes if they're not ready to buy a pair of running shoes yet. But running shoes do wear out. In the meantime, being reminded of Nike by way of inspirational ads, and yes, Colin Kaepernick, keeps them in mind for the time they do need a new pair. It may seem obvious now that we've broken it down, but that's what's going on at the big end of town. Manipulative? Machiavellian? If you've got a terrible product or service that can't live up to the promise, yes. Otherwise, no. The same applies at every level of marketing. Working out how to define the problem your audience has can take a lot of work, but it's worth it. Here's some ideas to get you going. 1. Use a metaphor of some sort. The problem is like slaying a dragon, but something way better. That's just a metaphor to show you what I mean by metaphor. Don't go making your problem a dragon and your solution a knight in shining armor, because that's going to be awful. Unless it was directed by Soderbergh. And then it'd be a statement on the absurdity of metaphors in marketing, and it'd be hilarious and sad at the same time. If you can get Soderbergh, fine. If not, no dragon metaphors. Number 2, use a historic quote or reference. Number 3, use a statistic or scientific rationale as seen on every cleaning product ever, for good reason. Number 4, use an absurd interruption. This one may rely on great talent to pull it off, or just a decent voice artist with a well thought out script. Number 5, use an anecdote or true story. However you explain the problem needs to then be answered by the solution. And that solution needs to be, of course, your service or product or idea. For videos that sit further down the funnel, where prospects already know you and may be in need of your product or service, you need a different approach. This is the consideration part of your funnel, and communication there should be less promotional and more about overcoming any regular objections that can be easily defused. This space is about building more trust. Your prospects are already considering you among others. You don't need to sell anymore, but you do need to give answers. This is the place for those features and benefits. It's more like a website video than a social media video, and it's a good place to see and hear case studies or testimonials. Put yourself back in the shoes of your prospect. You've gone into a store. If you're watching this in the future where stores don't exist because we're buying everything through some sort of extended reality portal, do let us know in the comments. You go in to buy that pair of Nikes or Adidas or whatever, and the store assistant is trying to inspire you by running in slow motion in front of a wind machine screaming, "Just do it!" Then it's going to feel weird. You want to know about the size and the weatherproofing. Next, you need to get clear on what tone and style will work for your audience. Or maybe surprise them. Give them something they don't expect. What about a wills and probate service that talks about the death of a loved one through the whimsical medium of nursery rhyme? If you know your audience is fed up to the back teeth with melancholy ads about planning their will, then this could be a risk worth taking. And you know what? It's already working for the brilliant duo over at Total Legacy Care. Is this for internal comms or is it public facing? Internal comms messaging can be acceptable on a phone or laptop as the audience is generally more forgiving of the low production, but unless you're making a feature of it somehow, the same trick will just appear cheap to anyone at the top of your funnel. Having said that, we recently got a welcome video that was shot on a phone, and although it wasn't personally addressing us, it was just spontaneous enough to feel like it was. So as always, there are exceptions that prove the rule. Some of your options for professionally shot videos are a talking head video like this. For more ambitious projects, live action covers everything from phone shot time lapses to cinematic epics, basically anything that involves real people on a real location. This also includes cinematic testimonials and case study videos. As well as that, you've got kinetic topography videos, flat lay videos, still popular on Instagram, and doodle or animation videos. What does your audience already know? Assume the level of knowledge your audience already has and begin there so you're not teaching them to suck eggs. Yes, you really need to know your audience for that, but it's important, otherwise they won't feel like they're in the right place. And if you know what they know up to now, write down what you want them to know by the end. This will help you understand what sort of supporting material you might need, a next video, a sign up, a booking form, or perhaps the more detailed graph that you mentioned in the video. What platform will you be distributing the video on? We believe YouTube offers the best way to get found by the right audience and has by far the largest dataset and audience on the planet. If your video-led strategy has YouTube at its core, we believe that's the best medium to long-term place for your content anyway, so it's going to be a platform to consider. Now that you have confidence in the concept, you need to script the work. You know those totally spontaneous videos where loads of unexpected things happen at just the right time? It would have been scripted that way. If you're using talent, they will need to work to a script and to have some direction on the sort of content you're making, which you'll know inside out if you've followed everything up to now. If it's down to you or your team, then the same thing applies, but in that case, you're the talent. How would you want to be treated if you were the talent? You'd want everything organized too. Before you start looking about for your entourage or your golden toilet, I just mean you'd expect a script, props, a load of... I'm going to leave this in. You'd expect a script, props, list of shots, and a short description of the outcome you need. So far, we've only covered the pre-production stage, but the good news is that's by far the hardest and longest bit. Production. If all the pre-production is done well, then this should be the shortest part of the process. We've got an entire channel dedicated to production basics if you're ready to dive in and do it yourself. But if not, all that pre-production planning will mean that the professionals you work with can get productive and creative because you'll be able to provide them with the ammo they need to do good work. See, I told you production was short. Of course, there's more to production than that, but covering every possible production type in this video would make it a few hours long, and I'm sure we're not going to compete with Netflix or whatever you're binge watching at the moment. Post-production. Once it's made, you need to get it ready for prime time. Editing a promo is different from any other kind of editing, so if you're not experienced, this isn't the place to start. Have a look at outsourcing this if you've done everything yourself up to now. What is needed to support it on your chosen platform? All that research that was done in pre-production should now form part of the supporting content. For YouTube, that means key terms in your title, tags, and a description within the key terms in the first 3 lines. What are the ways you can break up your content into smaller chunks for other platforms? Instagram can take a 1-minute version, any platform can take a provocative, playful, or intriguing 10-second grab. If you're feeling down with a youth, then maybe you could make a version for TikTok. And then make sure when it goes live that you share it multiple times. The first 48 hours are always crucial to help any new content get liftoff. Give it the best chance it can have by sharing on your business page or any given platform, and then with a different spin on your personal page. If you've segmented your email list, then include your promo video on the one that fits the audience best. Remember that promotional videos are background noise to most people when building awareness, but they'll tolerate them if they're in your buying set. Sending a promo to an audience in your email list that already has your product is going to appear a bit obnoxious, so be careful about who gets to see it. How else can we help you grow your channel? Check out this video if you want to know more about how to promote your videos on social media, or this video, which is our latest, probably something brilliant. Now breathe in and subscribe.